Thank you, Martha. Learning English is truly a tough journey where you definitely find some difficulties during this journey. In today's event, I would like to, we will dive into some of the most common struggles that you might feel related to as an English learners, and not only for the students. First of all, I want to mention about the vocabulary. First of all, I would like to mention about the vocabulary. Vocabulary is one of the integral parts of learning any language, including English. And in fact, there are hundreds and thousands of words, and it is impossible to know all of them at the given time. And there are too many words for any person to learn, and even native speakers do not know all of them in the mother tongue, but they can still communicate with each other well. Which means that you do not need to actually learn every single one of them. However, you still need to have a strong vocabulary to speak fluently in English, and you might question about the number of words that you need to be considered as a fluent speaker or an advanced speaker. And if you want to be an advanced speaker, then you need to know about like 4,000 to 10,000 words. And if you want to become, fluent, you must know more than about like 10,000 words. Um, so the list is way too long to display, of course. I think it's a good way to start is by reading through the list and identifying the words you already know. And I guess that's not the only thing that you're struggle with the vocabulary, because apart from learning all the words, another one of the problems is in learning English is that people have to face is forgetting the words soon after learning them. So it's a real challenge to maintain what you have learned, especially when it comes to vocabulary. And the second struggle I want to mention about is confusing spelling and pronunciation. First of all, there are hundreds and thousands of words in English that I've mentioned before. They have like completely different spellings, but sound the same when they're all pronounced. So you can have like a pair of shoes, or it's a pair for lunch. A pair of shoes is PAIR, and a pair for lunch is PEAR. They sound exactly the same, but written differently. Um, and for another example, I want to give you guys like the sound. F sound can be spelled in different ways. Has to be one of the top of on to be on the top of the list of the problems faced by English learners, along with the vocabulary. Secondly, about the pronunciation, English does not allow the rules of phonetics, because this is not a phonetic language. So oftentimes you do not say a word but the way it is spelled. For instance, in I am going to read a novel today, and I read an interesting novel yesterday. The word read and read is spelled with the same letters, but both are pronounced, differently. So there is a wide area of words like read or read that can confuse the beginners. And yeah, about the third struggles in real life conversations, do not have much interactions with the native speakers. And furthermore, slang has been updated on a daily basis. Sometimes it's really hard to catch up with the new ones. Um, which means that slang is used like temporarily. I'll give you an example for a better understanding. Um, well, about the slang slaps in the 2010s. Um, Slap is a slang verb mean to be excellent or amazing. Um, and it may not be as popular at the moment, but we have a feeling it will come back around again. Maybe. So, like fashion. Slang is really, similar to fashion. It will come back anytime, and you may never know. Next is about the problem about the you understand the language, but you cannot speak fluently or speak it out loud. To be continue about this problem. So understanding a language involves the ability to comprehend the words. Um, Comprehend the words and to not only the words but also the phrases and the sentences when they are spoken or written. So speaking on the other hand requires not only the comprehension but also the ability to form sentences. We have to use the grammar, the vocabulary correctly, and pronounce the word accurately at the same time. So in other words, you can learn and practice skills such as writing, speaking, or reading book by yourselves. However, when it comes to like speaking skills, it would be better if you guys have a chance to interact and discuss with the native speakers. Well, and the fourth struggles is the complexity in English grammar, and grammar is the rules of how we put all the words together. And learning English grammar can be challenging as there are um, so many exceptions to the rules, and native English speakers tend to to be a little lazy with following them correctly. So even when you're interacting with the native speakers sometimes and you learn from them, you might still have like some grammar mistakes while you're speaking. And some of the most common problems about grammar include, the tenses, because in some languages, tenses don't even exist. And in English, we have about like 12 tenses um, in total, and including three main tenses, which is past, present, and future. And each of them is further classified into four different forms, for example. And the last struggle for today's event is about the variations of English. And I will mention about the words and the accents. So when it comes to a number of native and non-native speaker, English is a biggest language in the world, and over time, this has caused many variations of it to appear and evolve differently in different parts of the world. So accents, dialects, local phrases, slang, and other variations all play a role in this diversity. And two things that you can immediately learn about the variation of English are the accent and the vocabulary itself. First of all, there are many different English-speaking countries, and I might say each of them had its own accent. For example, we have British and American accents, which are the two most popular accents that I've seen people practicing, to my knowledge. And as you can realize, I tend to speak with an American accent. Um, and you guys can share with me and Martha, share with others which accent you are now practicing in the chat box. Well, what else? And yeah, one subject can have many ways to call. It is called a sidewalk in American English, but it can be also called a pavement in British English. And we have like so many so many more examples about the differences of using vocabulary for just one subject. You guys can, discover yourselves during your English journey. It will be there will be so much fun. Like for example, myself, I really love Taylor Swift music, and I spotted out that in her two different songs, she used in one song she used the word sidewalk, and in the another one she used like the word pavement. So yeah, the language. I encourage you guys to learn, as many versions of accent and vocabulary as possible in order to have a better understanding with diverse types of English speakers.